Shaves, and welcome to another edition of AniTube Digest, where we go over the best and not so best anime YouTube videos to come out this week from the 28th of November to the 4th of December. I just want to first call your attention, if you haven't already, as if you already is, my video on the main channel. That, you know, if you're subscribed to this channel, we're seeing the live streams for a long time, just seeing them pop up every so often. I finally finished it and finally put out the culmination video. It's doing quite well, very positive reception. I really appreciate all the support on that video. Just shouting that out at the beginning of the, you know, I didn't want to, like, I was realizing that, that, like, in previous digests, when I put out a video, I'd put it in the best category, like, later on. Like, my video's great too, guys. I think, I mean, I obviously, yes, but I just realized, like, I had put it in the, it was just silly. I don't know. But yeah, it came out very, very good, and I'm very happy with it. Thank you so much for checking that out. But I just figure I put it here for posterity. But we're actually going to start with a reaction video to Synæsthesia Productions. Yeah. And this is a request from Doji. Wanted me to, and it was an AMV, so it was like, oh, I'll react to it live type of environment. It is a Blue Eye Samurai AMV, Mizu's bloody path of vengeance. Encouraging and interesting to see it for such a new series that's like on Netflix, and very few people are talking about it. I mean, Netflix kind of dropped a lot of anime all at once in the past like month or so, even like maybe 2 months, I guess. So this definitely got lost in the shuffle out of all those titles, I'd say. Maybe even more so than Akuma-kun. Which, like, nobody's fucking talking about, but I get that. But that at least has, like, some clout, you know what I mean? That's like a reimagined, like a sequel almost to a series from a, you know, really well-known manga author. This, I think, is original. I could be wrong. I literally have no perception about this. We're gonna watch it. I'm wondering if this is like a song from the anime or something else picked out. Very clean, just syncopated edits so far. But I'm not... Ooh, yeah. There's good transition wipes there. Really good pace with the cuts, but it's not... It's still not... Like a little cut black there was very nice, too. Really subtle edits. Really letting the show kind of speak for itself. This is a good clip to put to this part of the song being kind of like an interlude, them running. That was really smart. I don't know, just like, it feels right. It's very... It's showing a lot of like in order, basically. It feels like they're depicting the scene in the show just to music, basically, which is a lot what I do in my MVs. Nice. I'm wondering how much of that was an edit on their part. That I don't know if it's like from the show with like the turn to red, the red shots. Nice. That felt like an edit. That definitely felt like more of an edit, but that was really subtle. Like, it still felt very, like, in feel of the show. It also helps that the show's modern, you know? This is also a really good matching of footage and clip and song, and point of the song. They're not doing, again, like, not a ton of, like, fancy, weird shit. It's super, like, just getting the show out there, getting exposure to, like, how cool the fights are and stuff like that, which is cool. Very instrumental track, so which helps with that. Feels very trailer-esque almost. That was a good overlay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's good with like a blue clip and red clip, but it looks really great. I don't know which overlay that was. Matching the music like perfectly. Really well done. Nice. Yeah. The action of this anime, none of that has to do with the AMV. This is really nice. Yeah! I don't even know how much of that is from the anime or from the... Which is always it's cool. It's not like a bad thing. But it's like, oh wow. That was really good. That was really sharp and simple, and just enjoying like the all the violent parts, all the ultra violent bits. Didn't even try to like, it wasn't even feeling like, I don't know how the show is with simplicity and everything like that. But just focusing on these training and ultra-violent parts really streamlined it. It didn't feel like you were trying to summarize the whole show or something like that, get like the full scope of it. But maybe this is like to the extent of it, it's just how much of it is just like a samurai movie of just like fights. I doubt that's really the case, but like, because there's probably a lot more like grander story. But it's like, it's nice that you really laser focused in on just those aspects. I mean, it helps with that song being very propulsive, but also having a lot of different phases to it, a lot of different sections that don't sound as similar to each other. So it ended up feeling not as repetitive or, because that happens a lot with AMVs where you're choosing a song. The song ends up kind of repeating itself or just has a similar, very, very similar phrase, the chorus usually. So then the challenge with an AMV is to try to make it feel like a progression or a linear thing, to kind of like reinvigorate the same chorus, like the same sequence of notes and everything. It wasn't as much the case here. There's some familiar riffs with the guitar, but the song itself just builds. Not that you made the song right, but that's it. Or maybe you did. I don't know. I haven't heard it, but it builds itself in such a way like that. Yeah, we appreciate the photosensitive warning. There was one or two kind of intense shots, I guess, but I've done worse. I've done a lot, way fucking worse. Oh my god, I'm a menace with the fucking with some of these edits and everything. The way that the footage blinks to kind of further punch up the song, yeah, that's perfect. That's really what I want to do with a lot of the stuff I have in mind or have ideas for certain AMVs that I don't know, make it, so yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, this was really great though. Really enjoyed that. Thank you for requesting that, Doji. That was lovely. Rekka with a trilogy of videos. I was very surprised to see that, but like certainly I'll take it. It's about 3 2-episode OVAs. Don't have anything to do with each other, but they're all 2 episodes, and it's from 1991, 93, and 94. Just such an underexplored period of anime, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, and like, just completely unexpected. I only hit the watch later on the first one, and then realized after while I was like watching it, or he actually dropped the 3rd video today. So I ended up watching all 3 of them. The second one ends up being a lot more in depth. You kind of describing it a little more, and talking about the vibes and stuff. It didn't feel like outright analysis or something like that, but I do like the way Rekka talks about these titles, again with a lot of respect and a lot of enthusiasm, but chill vibes still. It doesn't feel like he's not making this out to be like the best thing ever or anything, or making these outlandish claims, especially like the H-bomb video that just came out, just being on my mind and definitely on everyone else's minds these past couple of days since it released 2 days ago. Actually, it hasn't been that long. But like the idea with video essays, it feels like you need to say something really profound or big and huge or substantive and whatever. And I just like that Rekka still has this like old school YouTube vibe where it really is just like how he's feeling. I don't know how scripted it is. Really, I would imagine the 10-minute one might be a little more scripted, but I'm not really sure of the process. But I just really liked. Again, I feel like he is kind of embracing a lot with what Bob does, where the video is really a opportunity for these anime to show themselves, to present themselves, instead of just like a picture on Mal. I don't know if I talked about it in regards to Rekka's videos or what, but I kind of allude to this in my encyclopedia video that obscurity is a long-term thing. Like an anime will probably forever be obscure, right? It's not like once it's written about or has a Mal page, it's not obscure anymore. No. Like there are levels of obscurity. Yes, there can be things that are more obscure than others. There can be anime that none of us even knew existed, like period. Like this fucking it was recently unearthed a Golgo 13 anime from the 70s, and it's limited. It's like almost picture book type of shit. It's not like, you know, a major or whatever, but like none of us knew that was a thing. Like I'm not that guy. I'm a profound expert. Like if I don't know about it, then no one, not like that really. But you would think a Golgo 13 anime from the 70s would, it's a thing we would know about, right? But no. So there's things that are way more obscure and everything, but it doesn't prevent these Bancho or delinquent OVAs from being any less obscure. I like that in at least 2 of the videos, Rekka really calls attention to the fact that these are the only YouTube videos on this. And then this third one, this latest one, where he says there's not even any reviews of this thing, and it's subbed. That was the other like I liked that the first one he actually went and watched the second episode raw, but he still had a really great time. Now you're in. Now we're getting it really deep. Like, let's go, man. And also, now that I remembered it, you mentioned that, you know, Kanto. The first OVA takes place in Kanto, and you have a kind of an attachment to that region, and that's where you applied to teach English in Japan. I really hope that works out, man. I really best of luck with that. That is so incredible. I think it's you and I know Zettai Japan is out there doing English, and I didn't review any of his Halloween videos, unfortunately, but I know he's still making stuff and hope he's doing well. But like, yeah, like that's phenomenal. I really hope that happens, man. That if you applied for it and everything and you get in, that'd be so cool. But anyway, in fact, you kind of call attention, like this is the only time anyone's talking about this, so it's sort of just a record. It is sort of just like getting it out there, just doing a little bit of work, you know. That sort of digging that you're doing is something that I really want to try. I don't know when. Like again, I'm sorry if my encyclopedia video is on my mind. But at the end of that video, in regards to obscurity, there was 250 anime that I became interested in, that I had never heard of before. I'm like, oh, now I want to watch that, and that list is growing a lot. It's already that. It's not just a plan to watch. I feel like there's a difference between like, yeah, I want to get to Haikyuu eventually, and these other titles that like no representation, nothing, and it literally feels like a whole Wild West frontier that's out there, and people are like, and I voiced it in my Madhouse video. I think I was somewhere, yeah, where it's just like, yeah, too early to explore the world, but too early to explore space, but too late to explore the world. Like, anime is it's all right there, man. I just downloaded Anime Golem posted a mega drive of Koji Nankei's entire filmography. He's an animator who did a lot of work with Mina no Uta. He did a couple of OPs people probably know about, like some Urusei ones. And the dude is, I've only seen like a couple, like a little clips, and obviously what Golem has shared over the years. There's some seriously Kino shit in there that I really like. It's just waiting. It's just there. You know what I mean? It's really, really encouraging and exciting, to be honest. But anyway, I just love that Rekka's doing this work, and kind of came out of nowhere, just working on these trilogy. It doesn't sound like you intended to make this a trilogy, but at the third one was like, all right, 3 of them, I'm done for now. Kind of, that's fine. But I mean, I commented in your first video, and this was before I watched the other 2, that like, I just watched Shonen Buck Sozoku back in August, and that's just peak. A little softer, maybe not as like shonen-y or like gritty and everything. It still got it. Still got that stuff, but it's a lot prettier. It's a lot more romantic and almost nostalgic. It's sort of just like, yeah, those are the good old days type of anime. They are OVA, so video, right? 10 50-ish minute episodes, really something. And another one is, and you've probably heard of it, of course, was Kyoko Oriwa is one of the first that I watched in that vein, in that like subgenre, and really liked it. But I do have to rewatch it. I definitely want to rewatch that one because I feel like that one I was kind of struggling or pulling myself through it. I liked it ultimately, but like I don't know. I remember the in moment to moment experience of not as being into it. I don't know, but I do want to watch more. Yeah, but like this was great. I don't know why you didn't really put them in one video, but maybe it really was just a matter of like I watched this and I wanted to make a video on it, and then I just got curious and it just kind of turned out this way. Yeah, that'd be fair. Yeah, this is a cool project. It's really, really nice. I liked it. And speaking of BobSamurai, I've been waiting for these anime grab bag and a channel update. Appreciated the channel update and talking about that. I left a question in your comments, and I did vote for Infinite Revias in the community post, so I'm happy that seems to have won. Looking forward to you getting to that. And these three, I put the two that I did not hear about. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier, just a second ago, with like the difference between a plan to watch where it's like, yeah, I'll get to Gridman Universe. Yeah, I've seen Gridman and Dynazenon, so obviously I want to watch Universe. I've heard great things. I'm looking forward to it. But really, like the thing that I'm going to this video for, that I'm just like, yeah, was these two other ones. I wrote them down. I made a new notepad, like little document thing that I'll just make a bunch of notes on and then never write anything and never re-look at. I don't know. Maybe I still want to make some kind of odyssey through a lot of short stuff and just go through a bunch. But I wrote down Vilgust and Ryan Surinouta, the two other obscure ones that he talked about, both from the 90s, 94 and 93. Yeah, and they both looked really great. And I was actually not without. I didn't feel like lacking if it wasn't like, I'm sorry, he's like, I don't really feel like making this review or a beginner's guide type of thing. And I think he said the Gridman Universe portion, he's like, I feel bad not making a beginner's guide to that stuff, like Gridman, etc. because they were just reviews at the time. I mean, so I at least got that vibe that's like you kind of see the beginner's guides as more substantive than the kind of the passive reviews or of course the unscripted. And I get that from your perspective, if it's like, because I obviously have weight on my own videos where like, yeah, I know the Berserk video is unscripted, so I don't see that as greater than even this, not even regarding the stuff that's longer, like my Madhouse video before it, because that one had a little more like research and depth to it. So I get the scaling of things, but I guess I just want to encourage that, like, you've been making videos for so long that it's like you still make those other stuff, and that's great. But I'd encourage, it's like you're just as good. Maybe this, I don't know how you come up how you take this, but like I like your stuff like in depth and as hard as you're going as hard as you can, or in this other kind of just grab bag off the cuff, just talking directly to your community and everything, that sort of stuff. I enjoy them fairly equally. Now I don't know, what I think would be, which just like not to say they're like the whatever, but like I guess what would, like, at this point with your stuff, what would wow me is like, not that you need to, right? Like, I love your stuff. Like, I don't need to, but I guess it's just like, there's not as much challenge to what you're doing. There isn't so much like going out of your comfort zone in some places, or maybe there is, and I just don't notice it because you're doing it so well. But there isn't as much of a risk. I guess there isn't as much tension of like I'm going out of my way doing this thing or whatever. But like I don't know why I'm voicing it, I guess, and that like why talking this way. I don't know. I don't know. It just something that I thought of, I guess, when I was watching this. That I really do enjoy this either way, and I think you're in a perfect spot creatively, even with like there's that adage of just like, oh, you should always be challenging yourself and putting yourself out there, and or like, you know, bigger and bigger or whatever. But like, I mean, you know, there's other bigger projects and stuff, but it's more like, yeah, the constant reinvention and challenge isn't necessary, you know, with if it ain't broke, I guess. I don't know why I brought that topic up, but I guess it's I guess I brought that topic up because it's a reflection of my own creative journey, because it to me, not that I make that a gospel or anything, but I do want to be making different stuff, and every video feels very different from each other, and I have very little consistency in that regard, both in length and in format and everything like that, and in release schedule. I am not very consistent. I've been more consistent this year, but like anyway, yeah, yeah, so yeah, just ruminations and stuff. But I of course really like this, and I put both of those on this now interested list. So there's a plan to watch list, which is like, yeah, of course I'm gonna watch How Do You Boy and the Heron, or How Do You Live, right? Of course I'm gonna watch. I'm actually hopefully watching it on Friday, but that's different from a ooh, what is this I've never heard of? I've now piqued my interest. Like, I'll put this in digest in case it, you know, I keep thinking I am going to forget about this show, because there are some things in my fucking plan to watch that I don't know why they're in my plan to watch, because I just don't remember why what piqued my interest in the first place. So that's also why I'm writing them here when I have the now interested thing. I'm like, okay, but why is this show here out of it? It's just like a random thing, because I'm just gonna forget. And one of them is just like, I keep thinking I'm gonna forget Tsuyoshi Shikari Shinasai. It's this 1992 anime. Again, it's early 90s. Like, this early 90s stuff really underexplored. 112 episodes. 112 episodes from 1992. It's like a slice of life, centers on this like high school kid and his two sisters and mom that are like really catty. That's kind of all I know about it. But like the ED, but I saw the ED posted by this like by this, you know, user that's what they do. I don't want to say bot, but like, because bots aren't really a thing as much on X or Twitter. Gosh, times change, I guess. But no, I saw that and I was just so enamored by it, and I was like, what is this? So anyway, yeah, that sort of thing. Anyway, love that you made this. Really cool. SteveSekai is filling with the thumbnail a bit more, but this is the thumbnail, whatever ends up being on this digest. That's the one I have here. 3 guys, 1 Japan. Because I only say that because I know the initial thumbnail was that same picture of Jack, and it just says mid desu. It's the first Japan vlog featuring spilling the milk, and I did catch a clip or like a shot of Core, also with a camera filming Jack. So there, and then I guess Steve kind of made mention of it, or maybe in the description too, that they're making their own Japan vlog to be put on their second channel, but doesn't seem to be out just yet. So SteveSekai's a little ahead of the curve. You know, I obviously liked seeing you guys in Japan, to seeing how your trip went, because it's just so cool and exciting. I hope so. It's 2 weeks in Tokyo, and that's the thing. That messaging, at least in the current thumbnail that's here, or that I'm looking at right now, that information was not in the video that I could easily parse. That was that's sort of the thing about this video that I don't know if it's getting as much success as it is, only because the start of it is very, you get like you just kind of go to Japan. It's like, I'm about to make this big trip or whatever, and it kind of has that Casey Neistat feel of like, you know, go through the airport and shit like that. Like, I get it, but I don't know, and then so on, like, even to compare it to that, right? It's not like Casey ever really explains anything, or maybe he does, like one sentence, like, I'm going here for this or something. I guess the whole thing was just like, there wasn't a lot of build up or context. I didn't know you, like, in the vacuum of the video itself, you don't know that you're going on a trip with Core and Jack, until they show up in the vlog just suddenly. And the first clip of them is like in that room that they're in. And that was a nice part of the video of just like seeing your living accommodations and that. But it felt really like, oh, out of context, because, and you just happened to not film anything, but there was stuff like you had already landed in Japan and did stuff, and then you was like, oh, this thing that I got, this Pokemon thing, I think, like, it just felt very disorienting, I guess. I don't know, I'm sorry to like pick apart the vlog or a vlog or something like that, I guess. But you know, ultimately I like the video because it's just great seeing you guys, and me seeing Thing Japan is just gorgeous. I think you got really good shots and went to interesting places. I really like the dinner you guys had, the scene of, not that you staged any of this, right? But but like the dinner with Shabu and Cora's say like, is this even a themed restaurant? I had no idea. Like, yeah, it's Monster themed. And then Jack saying is like, is that liquid ice? And everyone just like cracking up at that was great. Shit like that. And yeah, it's a good vlog. But it was, I think the thing about it was that it didn't have as much structure, or just like kind of disorient, like it kind of went scene by scene. And I'm not saying because there are vlogs that don't do this, right? But in contrast to another video I watched this week with CDawg having this kind of 3-part trip, I didn't really know the places he was going to. They're pretty unrelated to each other, actually. But a really crucial thing that he does that enhances the video as well as it does is narration. He does kind of talk about what's going on and everything. And I do think there was opportunity in this video with the travel and the various things to have some kind of voiceover. Not that it, have a big thing, whatever, but like even just little bits of just like, oh, and we arrived and like little bits. It doesn't have to be a ton. Something like that maybe. Just as a suggestion to further get like it doesn't feel like 15 minutes of just, there's no like, I get it, because not that I'm asking for like a big skeleton, like a big structure or anything like that, but was this like day one? Was this for week one, right? You don't have a full grasp of like how many days it is. It's like, is it 2 days, 3 days? And it might even be so that like, I've never made a vlog like this, and I can imagine with like, you just find stuff that you've recorded and everything. I'm not asking for like a play-by-play of the whole thing or anything like that. I'm just thinking of things that like would help along the telling, like pulling the audience through. That helps retention. That might, that might have the video perform a bit better or something. Not that I make this a consult, like I'm a fucking whiz at this. Nope, Chuck Testa. But I just encourage you that this was a good video. I really did. I did like it. Your personality and the stuff that you have here that you include was fun. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about it. I think it was interesting. Craftsdwarf of Dreams of Fate and Fate, a speculative Blackbeard analysis. I watched it, of course, and was like, "Give me the food." It is the only One Piece analysis content I can stomach. I'm sorry. I take that back. I like Recon's reactions, and I like Roger Space's reactions. And I just tried one of Murphy's videos, the latest of chapter 1100 or whatever. It's that particular format's not quite for me, I think, because it's mostly just recap and kind of pace by pace throughout it, like page by page, basically, about a recounting, mixed with her impressions of it. And I mean, her loving it so much is infectious, right? But in terms of analysis videos, it's crafts or nothing, really. I'm not like a connoisseur where I'm like, you're crap. I've tried. I actually haven't tried. I don't want to say never, but like I can't think of another one I've tried. But it is, there's just something about the subjects that you're choosing, and also knowing that, like, having tried your stuff, that is like, oh, this is actually good. This is like not pretentious, not trying to get it, not trying to just like come up with a definitive thing or whatever. Not gassing up One Piece, really, as tempting as that is, and as like easy as that would be. You know, it's just so approachable and interesting, and like you clearly know your shit, constantly bringing up things that I'm just like, oh yeah. Like the whole like I wasn't so much on board of Blackbeard being related to rocks for some reason. I don't know why. I guess it's because I love Blackbeard so much that for him to be a reincarnation of rocks, or actually rocks, or you know, something along that line, I was worried about it. I guess I just was like, I don't want him to take that away from that. I guess I just wanted, like, I don't want him to be in the shadow of this. I don't want it to be like a Madara situation, I guess. Kind of. If that makes any weirdness, do you know what I mean though? Where it's like, oh, the actual bad guy, even though the bad guy that's been doing the shit is right in front of us and could very well function perfectly as his own bad guy. No, we need to have an even more powerful. Not that, you know, just saying. If that makes any sense. No, but when you mentioned that Blackbeard and Ace fighting is a conduit or parallel to Roger and Rox having their rivalry, and like their son, he's like, Blackbeard's probably his son or something. It's like, yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, all right. It's okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's fine. Damn it. But yeah, I don't know. I really enjoy it, but I will say it wasn't as like blow my mind whatever, because when you say it was a speculative analysis, I was kind of like yeah, I was kind of looking for a little more progress, like what's he gonna do. There was little bits of obviously what he means to Luffy and everything like that, but in the way that he's kind of framing himself and stuff. I get that you don't want to make direct calls. It's not a straight up theory video, which is smart, because that'd be cringe, right? That'd be cringe. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I liked it a good deal. It was just, I don't know. I guess when I see speculative, I was just like, I shared with you my idea about Blackbeard specifically, but your stuff's good. Yeah, I get it. It's nice. But yeah, I can't really watch much else because I just don't know. I don't know. Jackisboy, the Pillow Skyboy item is a beautiful mess. Yeah, nice. Cool. Not been perusing all the Scott Pilgrim videos or whatever, and I've not seen it myself, so I'm sorry if I just kind of spoil myself to the whole thing that this is going for, because your big problem really was the last couple of episodes. But really, you were able to strip back kind of style, not being as hard on the jokes or the whatever. You end up feeling a lot more clear-headed and just sort of like very articulate. And again, not again, but what I was trying to say, making what it feels like a definitive voice for why Scott Pilgrim fans are not necessarily the most enthused about this adaptation, which is, it's not even an adaptation. That's the thing. And that does sound like it does. I like that you do not go that route of just belly aching that you should have just made an adaptation instead, or the whole subverting expectations thing, because you were down for it and you were enjoying the first couple of episodes, just as a pure, because yeah, Science Star doesn't miss really, and all the effort going into the voice talent and the performances and having the writer involved, it's like maximum, best you could ask for in everything else. And the humor is all there, and it's new. It's also just new material, right? I like that it's not just a necessarily redundant thing, and people are celebrating that in places. There is a reality that I've been seeing on Twitter that several of my mutuals who watched it were like, "Yeah, I'm not the most positive about it because," or it kind of left feeling mixed, like you are, about it because it was a good story, and this is fine, but it's kind of neat or whatever, but it doesn't live up to the comic or the movie. Apparently, it seems. I'm not a big fan. I've only seen the movie. I've not seen the not read the comic, and I haven't seen this show yet. But I like that this was able to articulate kind of perfectly, where it's like, yeah, you can do that, but like, is it good? Like, is it? And it does sound like people. And this could be, I'm sorry, I'm making big generalizations or whatever, but like, it does sound like people who are really amping it up and really enjoy it, like being bowled over by it as anime of the year, blah blah blah, is because of just that choice, just the concept, the premise of Scott Pilgrim Takes Off not being an adaptation is what people get excited about, and they don't care how good it turns out. Like the actual execution of this mystery plot and the ending and all these developments and stuff like that. I think you really seem to nail it with the humor moment to moment. It's an enjoyable show, and people are gonna enjoy it, and that's why you're mixed about it, because it's not like the stuff was bad necessarily, but it really didn't deliver. I know that I won't say what the video was, but you had shown me a draft of a video you were working on, and I guess you shelved that. I gave a lot of feedback in the way that's just like, you can't be caught slouching with this sort of approach, with this video concept. Like, if you're gonna make this point, it better be pretty well articulated. And I think you're making a similar case here, maybe not as polarizing or like minority opinion, because it does seem like there's a fair amount of Scott Pilgrim fans that feel this way as you do. But I think you applied that same kind of respect and rigor to this video, which I really appreciate. Which I just thought it just makes the argument land that much more succinctly and clear for me. It's like, oh yeah, that completely makes sense. And that way, it's like, regardless of how you feel about the thing, I'm not like going out of my way to be like, you're wrong about your opinion. like, how am I wrong about my opinion? Like, that doesn't, you see oxymoron in that? You're right. I'm not bowled over by it only because it's tight and it's straight shooting and doesn't have a ton of your energy or craziness or anything like that I expect, but expect is right, it's okay, because ultimately we're like what you make and everything, so it's like, my expectations be damned, bro. Go suck a dick. Yeah, that's totally fair. Yeah, but good video. I enjoyed it. And speaking of Scott Pilgrim, I just thought this was good to place in the digest, kind of pace wise, I guess. The behind the scenes for Netflix, they dropped 2 of them, but one of them I want to give a best videos of the week, and this other one more of a decent, because ultimately I appreciated it. It is about Scott Pilgrim Takes Off specifically, but they really only have the co-creators, which is Brian, the author of the comic, and then the producer, I forget his name, I'm sorry, who is really close with him, and they've worked for a while, and really got this going. It's really mostly those 2. There's a bit of the director, and there's some from character designers and certain. I know one of my mutuals was, I think it was AniTube, was excited to have like a Moko-chan face reveal or something. One of the episode directors, but there wasn't as much substance in the production itself as a behind the scenes feel. It is just kind of a creators talking about it in a constructive way, of just like the experience of making it, how they feel about it, about the material and stuff. They don't talk too much about the story or direction, because I get it's a kind of a spoiler of sorts. Although I think I would have appreciated that a bit more. Like there could be like the angle to really get this from, I guess. Yeah, but I did really appreciate this. But it wasn't too much to it that I more than I would have liked. In contrast to what I thought were the best videos of the week. What I thought were the best videos of the week is this. I think this Pluto behind the scenes was way more exciting and engaging, because it really goes behind the creation. It really says behind the creation of Pluto, where it starts with Masao Maruyama being like, why did he want to make this into an anime? And the fact that he reveals that, maybe he said this elsewhere, he had been wanting to make this an anime since the 4th volume came out of this manga. And now it's been 20 years since it finished, or since it came out. And he's talking about how it's like, this is probably my last project. And this is just like, this was the thing that was pulling me through and why I haven't died yet. So he's like, I owe a little bit to Pluto for still being here, sort of deal, which was really sobering. And yeah, really, really sobering. That is going to be really rough when he passes. Hopefully not too soon. Hopefully not soon. Not soon. Please. But I really appreciated the respect for the director here. And then talking with the character designer, who was not only the character designer for Pluto, but also for Monster, and talking about Urasawa's designs and then his own approach to them. Lots of examples. I could tell that this was produced by different people. I got vibes maybe just from the narration, maybe that was all Japanese, but I could get vibes that this was made by a different group, and I think a Japanese group specifically, that really got the material, really got the people together, and it gave them all the time to speak about it and the process. A lot of people were, dunking on this or just lamenting Last Sake Heads because the CG director was talking about Ohira and covering up his stuff and, his animation and putting a bunch of shit over it. I mean, I could be wrong about the translation here of what he actually said or meant, but, it sounded to me like Ohira wanted him to do that. That all was intentional. Ohira was, also picturing this sort of all this wind and all this effects stuff. It's some people were like, oh, look, the Genga dry, without any of the stuff, looks better than the final product or whatever. And that's fine. This is a subjective opinion, but I mean, when it's Ohira that was yeah, I want you to do this. I want to go with this direction or whatever. And them talking about it, I'm just happy they brought it up. I kind of wish they actually got Ohira to talk about it, so that it doesn't just come off like, oh, he told me this, and it's I don't believe you. This he said, she said crap or whatever. If it comes, it's not a fucking problem. It's just a subjective thing of whether you liked it or not, those sequences with his stuff over it, with all the CG or whatever. But I think his perspective was fair. And I also like that they interviewed the photography guy, talking about it and why he likes the position and stuff. And he also focused on Ohira's cuts and really giving him the credit of these sequences are incredible. So there was good representation there, which was, those scenes that they brought up from Ohira were among my favorite or most standout moments from Pluto. But yeah, really giving the gravitas of how monumental this achievement was, and speaking to the quality of Pluto, which it is one of the best, I think it's my anime of the year. Not that I usually choose or anything, and I've only seen 4, but 4 from this year. Still, holy shit, But yeah, I think that was what more I was looking for, I guess, with really hearing from them and really intricate detail and valuable information. Yeah, it's great. What a comeback! The death of a tsundere from Lextorias. This is more like it. Yeah, last year. So it's funny, right? The James Somerton thing, the H Bomber guy. I looked back, and because I had reviewed that Attack on Titan video that was brought up in AniTube video. I had reviewed that on Digest, and I actually gave it a best of the week. Because I explain my reasons why I thought it was good. But like I believe that he, all that plagiarism and stuff, that totally is believable, and good riddance. But I was not the only person to be fooled and humiliated by like, oh, I like this video. Imagine patroning him. Damn. Imagine co-writing and then like finding out that the guy you're working for has been stealing all this shit. Oh, God. Anyway, but I mentioned that because that exact digest that I gave James Somerton best in best. It would not be best. Back then it was monthly, so it was mostly chronological. But that was also the video I gave Lextorias the not good fan service video, which we had since we talked about and then became pretty good friends, either mutuals, I guess, or friends. But it's hard to. I use friends in a way that's like with online people. It's hard with knowing person for a long enough time or seeing them IRL, because I have a lot more mutuals and stuff. But I don't want to feel like it's a parasocial thing. But obviously, if I've talked to you directly and we're on good terms and everything, friends. Yeah. And anyway, I don't know how awkward that is. And obviously, your stuff's been really good lately. But then obviously, this is more like it felt very similar to your fan service video, but it was a lot better. It's got the sources in the corner. It's not making super outlandish terms. Every thing that you do make has a lot of evidence and citation and like based in reality. Not that it was like completely whatever. It just, yeah. And I'm sorry I didn't check out your waifu's video, which this one feels like more of a tangent of. I guess I just didn't. I wasn't strong enough. I couldn't. No, I get it. I'm sorry. Yeah, this was like, and also, but I liked that it was this short. You know what I mean? Less time to make a crazy whatever. Not a lot of super big claims or anything. And I think the best, the part that was just like, put it over the top for me as being a best video for me, was just that the idea of turning the idea of tsundere into a broader conversation about the hyper databaseification. I forget if that was the full term that you made, of media itself, where it's not really about narrative. Tsundere was a narrative trope. It wasn't a character trope. Even though I fully admit I was way more realizing, I was kind of more under the impression that it was a character trope, because that is exactly how it was being used for so long. Because of this databaseification where the characters were gamified in such a way that you kind of have to get what their trait is immediately so that you choose to go. That explanation was fantastic. And again, it had no disrespect to visual novels. It really was just like this is why they did it. And you can take that as you will. You could be cynical about it, but we weren't, and the tone of this was so well handled. Yeah, it's exactly like fixing most of the issues I kind of had with the fan service video, and seeing some YouTubers I know like Hayden and everything voicing in it was really encouraging, because it just felt like, yeah, you were really you were really wanting to do good here, and consulting people, and I don't know how much you are looking at stuff up and everything like that. Bringing those two books up that were brought up, by the same time. It was just really, really well done, and a good length. And yeah, this is the happy ending. Yeah, hell yeah, very, very nice. Got a great video from CDawgVA. I paid $1,000 for Japan's movie explosions. Good way to put it. And it's with Kaho. Yeah, so they were just kind of like, let's just go some places, Seems to be the impetus. It was like, what do we do for this month of making stuff? And so it was a good video craft where out of the three, the best SEO possible type of thing is the money, but then something that people probably know, like the explosions and stuff. But what I was trying to say is that all three experiences that Connor goes through here are totally new or he has like no experience. He doesn't know nothing. He's not like what's this or what, right? But he's not like into it, right? He's not like a fan of tokusatsu or Gundam. They go to like the Bandai Museum. The explosions thing that he does with Toku and everything, it's like maybe a fifth or a tenth of like a very small part of the video. Just like the first couple of minutes. The bulk of it is their trip to this ginger museum or cafe, which is very bizarre and keeps getting bizarre, and definitely the most fun part of the video because it had this progression to it of like, okay, where are we? And then exploring little bits of it, and like it gets weirder. No, it gets weirder. It gets somehow even weirder, and then it crescendos into this ultra cringe in a good way, because like it's the kind of the CDawg cringe where he's putting himself in this extremely uncomfortable, awkward, silly situation of dancing on stage with Kaho and this mascot for people just because. But it was just so thorough because, exploring the whole place, but then interviewing the guy who runs it, trying their food and everything. It was the most thorough, kind of the video, really. And then the title and thumb is just to get people into it. And then you're, hopefully, ideally into it just to check out more of Connor's stuff. And then kind of ending it on the Bandai thing felt kind of random and tacked on, but no, that's fine. I think it was actually a good idea because it doesn't feel like the Toku thing was only a front to talk about this ginger thing that you very clearly couldn't make the whole video out of. But it was good to have this like a 3-piece sort of thing to be like, oh, there's different, it's a one part of the journey of sorts, and not just like one thing up front for another thing, I guess. It's kind of that in its own way. But it's very, you can tell that, I mean, I've probably voiced this in other similar videos with that Connor's made like this. Very big abroad Japan influence. Huge. The narration, the cinematography, the humor, very dry British humor. Even just, again, that 1, 2, 3, like step-by-step type of journey thing. The only thing he doesn't do that Chris does is Chris kind of boils it. He just kind of lets people know what today's video is going to be experiencing. Connor does not say that they're going to go to the Bandai Museum until they're at the Bandai Museum, which is really interesting. But then, of course, the other thing I really want to highlight here that is a huge source of enjoyment for me, or at least maintains an enjoyment, I guess, that I hope more YouTubers do, and obviously he's setting a good example here. And on YouTube, there's not really such a thing as setting a good example because you rarely make that big of a splash at this point, because all of us are making stuff, right? But of course, what he's doing here, that is like, yeah, this is what you do. All 3 places where both the Tokusatsu stuff, the Ginger, and the Bandai Gundam stuff, no experience, and is uncomfortable with. He is honest about how he's feeling, but he's not denigrating or disrespecting or poking fun or there's no disrespect. It's incredible the balance you can have being honest about your feelings without punching down, without kind of like ridiculing it. You can have fun with it. I think the skit was really silly and fun and everything. You weren't ridiculing it, any of it, even the ginger stuff. I don't know how some of these other really troublesome Japanese YouTubers, not Japanese YouTubers specifically, but just YouTubers in Japan, which, there's a growing trend, or at least a history, right? I don't know how any of those guys, I don't even know their names really, who cares? Sorry, that's a bit of disrespect right there, right? It's so easy to do, right? It's just so easy to do. Those guys, I don't know how they would do a similar video like this. How would they treat going to the ginger place? How would they treat that, right? I don't know. I don't know. I don't really want to find out. It's all in order for you to film there, because if you're going to be a dick, then they're not going to let you film there. It's kind of easy as that. I don't know the full thing, but like, it does sound like it's getting hard. It is kind of getting harder to film in Japan, or just to make videos in this format, and you kind of have to like build a repertoire and a trust with the people that you're filming with, to be like, no, I'm going to be showing you in the most honest and not degrading, respectful way. Just maintaining that integrity at this point. But it's it's just to get more work, and it literally makes for better videos. That's all. That's it to me. It's just like, that's just, why wouldn't you do it? Because it just makes for a better video. Not even just be like, oh, you're not good, you're safe, you're not controversial. No, it just makes it better. You just like have more fun with it. It's just good vibes, you know. Anyway, yeah, great video. MartyMcflies put out a Laserdisc rip of this music album. It's by the band T-Square, and it's called Resort. It sounds like you put this stuff with a lot of info in the description, where there's some songs that are not directly from the album, and there's others that this weirdness and little not fully authentic, and not authentic to the degree of like there's more to it. It's not just like a copy of like this is their whole album onto a visuals and everything. But yeah, it was really interesting. I'm sure this probably has happened a couple of other times, but I've never really seen a video like this, or just of or at least from back then, of like from the 80s or whatever, where it's like a whole 40-minute, not much dialogue. There's a little bit of dialogue actually, where they're filming and some little banter here and there, but there's no narrative or anything like that. It is just song after song after song, and some of them are performing it live, and other times, or like on camera, and other times it's just kind of playing while over B-roll of this stuff, and it's filming what Marty says, or what I would agree with. It looks like Hawaii, which is really nice locales. So it's good vibes, it's good music, and gorgeous. I don't know. I just like it. I'm putting it all the way down here because it is just maximum vibes, maximum comfortable stuff, and also to kind of in a way celebrate Marty being back, because his channel was private for a little while, putting out a couple of videos. Not too much really, but like private a lot of his stuff for a while because he had some copyright strikes, as you do with a channel like his. But I'm happy it's up and everything, doing okay. And this was a great upload. Thank you so much for sharing that. And obviously everything that Marty does with he's been subbing some stuff. Like I've been watching their release of Heart Cocktail, and I used a lot of that footage for my encyclopedia video. So I'm very grateful to him and all those efforts of getting those 6 laser discs. So we have basically all of Heart Cocktail in decent quality and subbed. That's incredible. I can't believe that. It's really encouraging and incredible stuff they're doing, and of course all the music that he puts out and everything. It's just been so valuable and great. So, but this was a wonderful thing to listen to while I worked on something that we'll do next week. We'll do next week. Anyway, yeah, I loved it. Just wanted to put that out here. However, we are not quite done. I want to have this one at the end, even though I have not even scratched the surface of it, because it's 4.5 hours, and it came out yesterday. I'm sorry. I could have tried harder to watch all the videos, try to get this one in as well, and then do digest and everything. Damn, bro. But I did watch the intro and I got up to when you were showing Cyborg 009 and that movie. So that, like, already, okay, this is probably one of the best videos of the year. I'm just saying. Because I mean, this long on a really healthy channel, you're doing really well growth-wise, and you have such a impressionable, I don't want a younger audience, I guess, but just like more normie. I don't know. Your audience is not my audience. You know what I mean? So for you to put out a video that is like having like this vibe joke over a clip of Gamba no Boken, putting Ie Nakiko in an AMV montage of backgrounds at the beginning of your video, the representation, I love it. I contributed to this video. He uses some screenshots that I took from Sally the Witch that I shared with him, because I don't know if consulting's the word. I guess it's the word, kind of. I talked with him a lot about this video, and he really wanted to do this as serious as, really go in on it. Boy, did ya! The boy. Jeez. I will give one bit of criticism that was not mine originally. It was when this was shared on my server, or someone else's server. I don't remember. But one comment I did see from somebody that was just like, GIFs, bro. That were like, the quality of some of the clips you're using, at least in the beginning, like the first minute or so, are not great. It's not great quality. It does kind of damper your point when it's like, look how gorgeous these backgrounds are, when they're definitely in better quality than this. There are some that you cannot help that. Sally the Witch only looks as that good, Astro Boy similarly, but some of the only footage you could get seemed to be hard subbed. Like, did you get them from 9? Like 9 anime? Like, don't get me wrong, I did that shit for like, I took a lot of my footage from Kiss in a lot of my earlier videos and stuff. I'm not like knocking that. I kind of got, but it is. There are some movies, and I don't know how, like the Cyber 009 movie that you bring up, that could be probably the best quality it's in. I don't know, but I don't know. It is what it is, right? Especially for just how many you're talking about, for how long. I'm really not gonna bellyache. I like, this video's bad because of that. You know what I mean? But it is something to consider. The value you have of what you are talking about, how you're talking about it, in such an approachable, like, the way you do things, right? Which is just levity and not trying to be super pretentious or making big claims. There's certain things that you're making some generalizations, at least in the 60s part, about like the some of the backgrounds. To me, the fact you demonstrate how much you're caring about this, just from how long the video is, but also, and look, also, I get that length does not equal quality. It just can't. Please, don't let that be the case. Please, that can't be true. That's impossible. I'm not gonna knock a multi-hour video when I just put out an 80-minute video, okay? But it's also the first couple of minutes when you're talking about it. But then you also look at the time codes, the chapters that you put in the video. You're just looking at this list of all the stuff you're going to talk about. It's so comprehensive. It's incredibly and in the right place. It kind of doesn't matter how, like, oh, this is all you're saying about this background is that look at the clouds are swirly. I can imagine people kind of like, I don't know why I'm suddenly trying to white knight this video now. I don't know why, that I'm just in that headspace, I guess. I'm stupid busy this month. But I do have the intention of watching the whole thing, listening to the whole thing, and then I will report back. This will not be the last time I talk about this video. I want to make that assurance to myself. But I already know that, like, just from what you demonstrate, from what you show, like, there's things that I could like nitpick and stuff. Like I gave you some feedback just now, which, like, in the grand scheme of things, where it's like missing the forest for the trees, really, right? But it's all for the sake of making an even better video than it already is, I think. To be fair, I'm already assuming it is. I get that I am making an assumption here that, like, I watched 15 minutes out of a 4.5-hour video, and it's good. Like, come on, bro. Come on. I know I can't necessarily say that, but I really wanted to put it here at the end, just to be like, I know it's a thing. Not only do I know it's a thing, I really think it's a good thing. Because, again, it's just, I see the value in what you're doing, the way you're going about doing it, and celebrating the author, celebrating the art directors and stuff, being so effing thorough in the way that you do it, in the way that you chose here, to mostly be on the side and not doing too many crazy jokes. I think your reasoning makes a lot of sense in the video of just like, letting the background speak for themselves and not be in the background. I think that was a really great salient point. But also just that, like, it was probably also an economic measure for you. You can actually finish it. Because you spend time on all the crazy stuff that you do in your other videos. This video will come out in March. Okay? Like, I get it. So, yeah. I thought this was a really good approach, ultimately. Really happy for you for succeeding in making this video. And I love that you made it. definitely probably, I already know it's going to be one of my favorite videos of the year, if not my favorite. I don't know, maybe my favorite. And I've been enthused this year with videos. It doesn't feel like a Hallmark year or anything like that, but no, seriously, guys, check this shit out. It's so good. That'll do it for this installment of AniTube Digest. Thank you very much for watching. You guys are great. You have a great week. Yo, peace.